What's going on, you guys? I just want to say shout out to y'all for telling me to go ahead and watch Clickbait. Okay. Sometimes y'all give suggestions, and sometimes I watch them things, and sometimes they're hit or miss. Okay. And this was a hit. Okay, this was a hit. Y'all said lock in. I was gonna be in for a ride. It's gonna be a whole bunch of twists and turns and everything, and I was not gonna figure out who did what by the end of the episodes. And you are 100% correct. Okay, I will tell y'all this first of all. If you have not watched the series, if you have not watched the series yet, it's on Netflix, and you don't want to hear no spoilers because I'm about to just go through the whole series. I just click off. Click off because I'm telling everything, okay? Just click off right here, right now. I want you to be in suspense when you watch it. I don't want you to already know what's going on. I warned you, so don't get in the comments mad, okay? Because you heard something that you shouldn't have heard, all right? I watched this all at work. First of all, the episodes is like probably 45 minutes at the max, okay? And I watched all of this at work today. Girl, and I just got home. And I just got home. I said, girl, let me get up on this camera and talk about this, okay? Because a whirlwind, a whirlwind, a beautiful masterpiece. It was cute. It was good, okay? Listen, so we start the show off, and our main characters are Nick, who is the husband. He's married to Sophie, okay? They're in an interracial relationship, which, you know what, to be quite honest, I was here for. I was really here for, representation, okay? Because it's out there, you know. And then they have two kids, Kai, who is the youngest, and Ethan, who is the oldest, okay? But they're still like young teens, all right? And then Nick has a sister named Pia, okay? And so they also have a friend named Matt Aldrin, you know. Matt works with Nick, and he works at this university. He's like a physical therapist or whatever, dealing with the women's volleyball team. And Nick, not Nick, but Matt, he works with the volleyball team as well. I don't know if he was the coach, but I know that he worked there too with the women's volleyball team. So at this point, the show starts off. They're over at Nick's house, and they're giving gifts and giving toasts or whatever, celebrating the mom's birthday, their mom's birthday, Nick and Pia's mom's birthday. And at this point, Pia, girl, I don't know what Pia was on. Pia was just on some mess. She gets, running off at the mouth. She don't like Sophie, okay, the wife, and she basically thinks Sophia. Well, her name is Sophie. She basically think that the girl got to stick up her ass, okay? Like she the one that making him do this. She needs to loosen up or whatever. She's just being real rude. She was being real rude to the point that Nick told her to get the hell out, okay? He gets loud with her. They go back and forth, tells her to get out. Next thing you know, we see her. She out there, just drinking and living a life and having a good old time partying at the club. I said, girl, what dance was you doing up in that club, okay? I said, what was all of this? I said, you ain't even dancing on beat, but all right, mama was drunk. Okay, mama was drunk. Mama probably was high too. She was just out of it, all right? She getting text messages. She's in the bathroom at one point, and she's swiping on Tinder. It looked like a dating app, Tinder or whatever. And then she wanted us swiping right on this one particular guy. He comes up later, and we find out that he's the freaking detective that's gonna be on this case. I said, wait a minute. So basically, she winds up dropping her phone in the toilet, and then she goes home. She got a roommate, okay, Ellie. They got their stuff all named off or whatever. She using Ellie stuff to Oh, okay. She using Ellie stuff, her rights and everything else to just, freeze out her phone, all that stuff. This comes into play because she goes to work the next day. I said, I don't understand how people go out and party so hard like the way that they do and then go to work early the next day as if nothing happened. I would be dying. Okay, I would be dying. I'd be so tired. It just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. She works at the hospital. I think she's a nurse because she was I don't know if she was giving chemotherapy to this young boy. His name was Vincent. Or was she giving like dialysis or something like that? Either way, she was administering some, medicine to him intravenously. And, he started bringing up this, he got a notification that this popular girl, I guess on YouTube or whatever, she do the true crime stuff. And she was talking about this particular story of this person who was being held allegedly for ransom. If you watch the video and it gets 5 million views, he was gonna die. Okay, and they said that he allegedly abused women, he was a sexual assaultist, he rapist, and all that stuff or whatever. Okay, cool. So then he was like, "You want to click on the video?" She was like, "Okay, cool, click on the video." At this point, they was all cool. Girl, they clicked on the video. She looking like, "Oh my God, it's her brother, it's Nick." Now, the last time they talked to each other, girl, they had a falling out. You know, they was going back and forth, and he kicked her out the house. Okay, she running around trying to get in contact with Sophie, trying to get in contact with his job. She goes up there to see if he was there. He didn't clock in. He had a meeting that he never showed up for. She talked to the friend. He didn't know nothing about it. The school wouldn't let her, wouldn't even go get Sophia. I'm going to just call her Sophia. Sophie. It just sounds so much better to call her Sophia. You know what it is? Sophie sounds like a Caucasian name, and then Sophia sounds black to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of Color Purple and Miss Sophia. That's what it is, and that's what I'm thinking of. But y'all get it. She up there teaching, okay? And they wouldn't even like, it was just irking me the way that they would even pull her to the side and say, "You got a phone call, it's an emergency," because that's what she said. It's an emergency. Pia was like, "It's an emergency." Well, what do you need to tell her? It's none of your business, but it's a family emergency. Go get her. So Pia had to go up there to the school and pull her out of the classroom and tell her and show her the video. Now, it already said if you get 5 million views, he's gonna die. And she keep on clicking on the video. Girl, at one point it was 100,000. They go take it to the police station, and one of the detectives on the case is the guy that Pia swiped right on. Okay, twist. I was just sitting here like, Now he was looking a little bit suspect, like, "Oh my God, it's you." And I'm thinking at this point, like, they already met, but come to find out, they never met yet. Okay, they just matched with each other on this dating app. So, they basically was like, one of the detectives, he was just giving him a hard time, right? Rashawn, that's his name, giving him such a hard time or whatever, being a hard ass, talking about he not a team player and all that stuff. Because he was just doing the most. He's trying to get on homicide, and they trying to tell him, tell them, your husband only been missing for a couple of hours or so. So you up here trying to do what? And basically, if it wasn't for Pia, I feel like a lot of stuff wouldn't have got done because she was relentless, okay? She was really like, "No, you gonna look into this, you gonna do this, and you gonna do that," okay? So they started taking it a little bit more serious, trying to find him and all this stuff. She got the little boy Vincent to try to help, do some little hacking stuff and use an app or whatever to for Rashawn to look up some locations or whatever. And at one point, it was like 1.5 million people that already viewed it. Okay, people are already talking. The kids are being asked by their friends or whatever if that their dad, and they was like, "Yeah." And Sophie trying to calm it down and be like, "Don't tell nobody." It was like, people already know what daddy look like, so it don't matter. So at this point, everybody just going crazy. Something about Rashawn and the way that he was acting in the first couple of episodes, he became a suspect to me, okay? Detective Rashawn, at one particular point, I think Sophie was talking to him and she was like, "Are you married?" or whatever. He was like, "Yes." And I said, "Wait a minute, so why was you on a dating app if you was married?" Girl, he necessarily not married, but he do got a kid, okay? And his ex-wife got, or his ex or whoever she is, got a new man. You know what I'm saying? We saw that. That was just a little tad bit right there. So I'm looking at this show and I'm like, okay, so where's the get you gotcha? All right. Rashawn got to have something to do with it because at one point he was getting calls from other people. He was texting other people like, "What you know?" And people like, "Do you know this and do you know that? Hold on a minute," and all this stuff. And I'm like, who are you talking to? Meanwhile, the same thing was going on with Ethan, the son, the older son. He texting with somebody else too. And I'm like, "Girl, boy, who you talking to?" Okay. It was like, "Well, they think they got the guy who did it. They think they did this and this is what's going on." And he was giving that person every freaking detail. And I'm like, have you seen this person? I hope this is somebody that you truly comfortable with to be telling all this information to. Okay. But then we get down the line and we see that basically no. Okay, moving on. Miss Pia was just going a little bit stir crazy. She took it upon herself to try to find some things. At one point, all of the news outlets was coming out there to the house, just stalking him or whatever. And next thing you know, there was this woman that was out there. outside the house. I guess, because Sophie came out there to read a statement about her husband, because people were saying vile things about him. And she had to clear that up. He would never hurt anybody, okay? He would never hurt anybody. He was a loving husband. He was caring and all this stuff, but when people put on fronts like that and airs, that something else is going on. Oh, excuse me. I might have another one later on because I always do it in threes, but hey, my bad. Something is always going on beneath the surface, okay? It's always some trouble or whatever, and that's what everybody was thinking. Now, when they was going to do the memorial, okay, because they pulled the kids out of school for the time being because it was just too high, all the press and everything, they camping outside the house or whatever. And at one point they was about to get ready to do the memorial, and they was going to do it at the college that he works at, the university, okay? And so when they came up there, I believe Rashawn was up there too. He came through, and one of the girls from the volleyball team was like, she gave off the implication. She basically implied that, Nick was a bad guy. Like something happened, like he really did do something, because another video came out saying that, he abused women and, he killed a woman or whatever. And I was like, wait a minute, Nicholas. What did you do? I said, who was these people holding him ransom like this? And this is before it reached 5 million views, because at this point, it reached 5 million views, and they thought they found the spot, the place where he was supposed to be at, because the little boy had got the boy Vincent that Pia was working with at the hospital. He did got some other people. Oh, you know what it reminded me of? Have y'all ever watched that show Don't Fuck with Cats on Netflix? And remember how they was doing them webs detectives or whatever? They was all together in a group or whatever, and they was getting everybody from everywhere to get their inputs, and they was just blowing up everything, looking at every little bitty details. That's exactly what Vincent did, okay? That's what it reminded me of, because he found a sticker or whatever to the van, and they found out where the van was located at, and where the warehouse or whatever it was, and then they wound up finding out where the video was filmed, okay, where Nick was, okay, because at first they thought it was a hoax, but then they realized that this was serious after they found the stuff, and they did not find him there, but they found his DNA, okay, because he was beat up. Meanwhile, after Rashawn get cursed out by one of the detectives, because the detective was doing too much. I already told y'all that. But, Rashawn tried to stand up to him. Truth be told, he needed that job, because if he didn't need that job, I truly feel like he would have slapped him. Okay? Slapped him, punched him, or did something, because you would not be talking to me like that. I don't care if you my superior, but you would not be talking to me like that. All right? Meanwhile, he came up with this bright idea to use this app, mapping out these different locations, and he showed that detective, his superior. He said, if this don't work, this is on you. So they went down and they found this particular area that was on the map, and there was, at first, people can be so cruel, because before they found this area, it was a group of people that was by the water on the rocks or whatever, and somebody had put a mannequin down there, dressed it up, and put his face on there, like printed out a picture of Nick's face and put it out there. I said, why would y'all do that? Talk about something, let me get a picture. Then in this particular area, when they used the app, they finally did find him. It was another group of people who saw a body and they was taking pictures, but they scared them off, and Rashawn found the body. I said, damn, so Nick really did die. I said, that's messed up. I mean, just laid out there like this. I said, wake him up. But anyway, because of that, everybody was hurt. Like I said, they was going to throw this memorial. And truth be told, everybody was looking at Sophie crazy, okay? People had their doubts in their minds, okay? At one point, it was like, fuck him, because he was a so-called, sexual abuser, abuser of women and things like that. But then, Rashawn got his hands on a video of Nick at this bar, and this guy, I think his name was Cameron. No, that was the reporter's boyfriend name. This black guy that confronted him or whatever came up on him, and then they got into a fight. Mind you, Pia said on this particular day he came to her job to, get stitched up or whatever, because his side was hurt. He was bruised, because he just got into that little bar fight. Mind you, They showed this video to Sophie, and she basically made it seem like she didn't know who he was. Like, oh, he just a ex co-worker. I haven't seen him in a long time. He was an old colleague, an old friend, or whatever. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay. I don't know why he would be talking to Nick, and what they got in common or whatever. She made it seem like she didn't know nothing. Okay. And she saw the video and she saw what happened. Meanwhile, she went over there to confront him after she found out that Nick dead, okay? She went to the black guy house. Girl, they had an affair, okay? They had an affair for at least 3 to 6 months or whatever. He fell in love with her. She initiated it. Now, at first, I was sad for Sophie. I said, girl, you shouldn't have to go through this, okay? You shouldn't have to go through this. We as women, we go through a lot as it is, and now you got to put this whole family on your back now, okay? And then come to find out you out here fucking around and you initiating stuff. Okay, see, that's worse because you the one that's in the marriage and you knew that it was wrong and you initiated, okay? And then you made the man fall in love with you. Okay, I ain't gonna say you made him, but the man wound up falling in love with you and, getting fired from his job and moving and all this stuff, and now he's a suspect. Girl, she done went, you just got the information that your husband is dead, and then you gonna go directly to the other man's house. She didn't realize that she was being followed, so he didn't get arrested, but then he got let go. Next thing you know, it's being put out there that he was a suspect, but then they said he wasn't, because at one point I thought he did it after looking at that video, but no, it wasn't him. So I was just like, oh, okay, so who did it? Because now he pissed off at her. Now everybody looking like, oh, okay, so now y'all really got something going on. Because at first when she asked him about it, he lied and said that Nick picked the fight with him. And in the video we saw, he was the one that threw the first blow, not Nick, okay? So that was that. So they get to the memorial, people looking at her all crazy and everything. Rashawn was there. I think it was him that was there, and that's when that girl told him about, Nick wasn't all what they cracked him up to be. Like, he was doing some messed up stuff, and you need to talk to one of the girls there. And Matt, his friend, came over there and interrupted before she can truly say everything that she needed to say. But everybody was just looking at him, looking at the whole family. Mostly Sophie's just really crazy. So she get up there, she sit down, and let me tell you something. Don't smile in my face. Don't look at me like you want to give me sympathy and then be talking behind my back, okay? So they up there, Matt was up there eulogizing him or whatever, talking good things about him and all this stuff. And at this point, she was just going through the motions because she just hearing a lot of stuff. I don't know if it was before this or after this she found out that, no, it was before this. Before he got found killed, that there was another woman in the picture. I said, so he living a double life? He living a double life? And then the bitch gonna come right outside old girl house. I said, oh no, not you gonna do this, okay? Granted, you didn't know that he had a whole other life over here with kids and all that stuff, but you gonna come outside her house, okay? I mean, had a whole new relationship. We see them in a bed. His name is Danny instead of Nick, all right? She talking about we met him in California. He did this, he did that. We was talking for like 6 months or so, and woo, woo, woo. And then she found out that he was dead and had kids and it was all of this stuff. I said, oh, so that's what we going off, okay? Of course, Pia had to look into it, and that was fine. That it came out to be true. So while they at this memorial and Sophie hearing all of this good stuff about her husband, she in her mind is just putting all the stuff that's been happening though, it's just swirling through. So up until a point where she had to get up and leave, And so as she walking out, one of them bitches gonna say, shame on you. I said, bitch, what? Sophie, knock her ass out. Sophie just took her drink and threw it in her face. I said, girl, you better than me, because I would have knocked that little frail ass bitch out. Okay, you ain't gonna tell me no shit like that. All right. So basically, they got scarlet letters on them at this point. The whole family just, it's just a mess, okay? The reporter Ben comes into play, because he's being very much like these thirsty reporters do. That is one job I could never do, because I would not feel comfortable encroaching on somebody's personal life or whatever and trying to get them to say this and say that. What's going on? Do you know that your husband is this? Did you ever had an affair? Did you do? Like, I see you going through your stuff and you grieving and you bombarding them with, these crazy questions. Granted, we want the answers and these are questions that need to be asked, but not like this and not at that time. He is the type of person that he will go to any limits to there is no limit to where he would go to get a story. And at this point, this story fell up in his lap. Okay, he took it upon himself to go talk to Emma. All right, him and Emma having this conversation, he found out about their relationship. They was gonna do an interview, at one point, and then Pia and Sophie finds out that he was about to do the interview, and she brought the lawyers up there, and she was like, listen, if you do this interview, we suing y'all, okay? They said, well, we won't run the interview if you give us the interview. They was like, okay, cool. Okay, they had to convince Sophie to do it, but she said, okay, cool. Ben, was in his feelings because of the way that he did it. This is what happened with Ben. He made it seem like he was dropping something off like he was a delivery, and he knocked on the door. Kai opened up the door and then said, hold on a minute, and didn't close the door all the way. He took it upon himself to come into the house and just start recording and everything. I said, what? Mind you, Pia right over there, and she called him, and she cussed him out or whatever, and that's what made them go up there to the news place and get him called out. So he got his story pulled just for that. She was the boss was like, you better be glad that was just it, because I could have did more. You know what I'm saying? You could have been fired. Next thing you know, him and his boyfriend, he done roped his boyfriend into stuff, trying to look up all his information, and come to find out they was like, not only was he on this dating site, but he was on this dating site and this dating site. It's at least 3 other women, because we see Emma talking to this other lady who was talking to him, but she said she didn't let it get too deep because she saw through him. Okay, mind you, they up there burning a picture of him. I said, a portrait at that. I said, damn, it was that deep that you up here making photos and portraits of people that you ain't even meet yet. Okay, I said, all right, cool. Listen, so them two linked up for a second. Meanwhile, Ben, he getting some more information on another one. Her name was, at first they thought it was Sarah, but it was actually, no, at first they thought it was Mandy, but it was actually Sarah. Okay, they went through the motions, found these bookshelves in this picture that she was at, and found a similar bookshelf in this book place in Sacramento. They run down there, try to talk to the people, get her real name, and then they find out that she had a brother, because then they also found out that she had died 4 months earlier. Okay, and so at this point, they find the brother. He looks creepy. He just don't look like the Karen type. He looked like he probably got some bodies under the floorboards. Okay, but then again, looks can be deceiving. All right, because we get to see his story. He had a camera in his we go back to Mina with Miss Mandy, okay, or I should say Sarah. He had a camera up in her house, because, and at first I thought he was being creepy because of his job or whatever. I was like, that's your sister and you spying on her. But no, it was because the girl is dealing with, like, she's a manic depressive, like very depressive, and anxiety and everything like that. She's on pills. I don't know if she had any other mental health, but I'm pretty sure she did, because he asked at one point, was she taking her medicine? And she was lying to him about going to a job when he had called her or whatever, or texted her, and she's all chipper. She's chipper because she's talking to this guy that goes by another name, which supposed to have been Nick. It was Nick. You know what I'm saying? I said, damn, Nick, you just, how many fucking women do you got? You got a harem full of women. Girl, what is going on, Nicholas? Okay, I know you're not meeting all these people, so he go down there looking at her place, and it's all cleaned or whatever, like she's in good spirits. Next thing you know, like, fast forward, we see some text messages of her going back and forth with Nick, and basically he's saying, this is not what I signed up for. I didn't sign up to be your therapist or whatever. I can't do this no more. It's over. And she was like, well, if it's over, I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. He was like, I don't care. Go ahead and do it. Next thing you know, the brother is over at her house. The house is just a mess, okay? We can see she's going through one of her episodes where she's just really depressed. She hasn't been taking her medicine. She's probably manic at this point. And next thing you know, another scene with the brother, fast forward, he gets a phone call because he's out with his friend Daryl. He gets a phone call from the sister saying, I'm sorry, I can't do this no more. And he's just already alerted, so he runs over there to her house, and she had committed, she offed herself. I don't want to say the other word, trigger warning, sorry. She's unfortunately no longer here. So at this point, he's just in his feelings. He's in his feelings and he's sad about it. And then he goes through her phone or whatever and he finds the message. His name was Jeremy, okay? The person who was talking to Sarah was named Jeremy, all right? I said, Nick, you didn't been Danny, now you're Jeremy, okay? And so you give it all of this information and he see that last text message exchange, which basically told her to go ahead and do whatever it is that you said that you was gonna do. I don't care, which means she was gonna kill herself, okay? And so he's pissed off at this point. And the reporter winds up finding, because he goes to the man's house. His boyfriend, thinking that he'd already talked to him, was in the house talking to him. No, he broke into the house because the man, he wasn't there. The brother wasn't there, but he was coming up the steps and he wound up finding a box underneath the brother's bed, and found her phone. Okay, and he released all those text messages. First of all, he almost got caught. And it damn near cost him, if it did, his relationship with his boyfriend that he's been with since college, okay? Because he was too enthralled. He's so about this story that he don't see that, you're crossing boundaries and you're crossing lines and you're literally okay with it, okay? And the boyfriend wasn't here for it. He was like, at first I thought this was a little fun thing, whatever, but now I see how serious it is, and I see how you basically have no remorse and no feelings and no empathy for what's going on, and I'm just not here for it, okay? He winds up getting his story back. He winds up being able to interview Sophie, and he puts out there basically that Nick is this serial cheater, okay, and he's out here doing all this stuff, and Sophie get confronted with all of this on live TV, all right, with the multiple women. She leaves. Next thing you know, they at the house, and they wind up sitting there looking at the thing as a family. I said, as a family, why we gonna sit there and look at this stuff as a family, and got the kids there too? And like the kids said, we was gonna see it no matter what. We got phones and we can look it up on the internet, even if you don't want us to see it, 'cause that's was the point. They didn't want them to see it, but it is what it is. And so at this point, we fast forward. Of course, the brother is telling a friend, because Rashawn, he comes up there to talk to him. He's the police officer, the detective on the case. He comes up there to talk to him, and of course, he has an alibi saying that he went fishing with his friend Daryl. Daryl wasn't there that day. He texts Daryl and tell him, "Do not answer the phone. Okay, get out." And next thing you know, they leave or whatever, and come to find out, the backstory is, now we got some more suspects. Okay. It been so many suspects up until this point, and then this was the strongest suspect that I thought had did it. Okay, uh, they caught him because he was running and he tried to get away. They tried to question him in his house and told him to come to the police station, and he wanted to drive his car because he said he needed to get to work right after. But instead, he tried to run, and of course he did, on foot, and they caught him. Daryl, on the other hand, was in a parking lot, and Mia wound up seeing him, and they get into a tussle or whatever. So that wound up happening. We get the brother, I think his name is Simon. Simon is in custody at this point, and the only person that he want to talk to Pia. Okay, so they get Pia to come down there, and he basically says what happened was, he found out about this relationship with Nick and his sister, okay, in that last exchange that they had. And basically, when they said in the video, "I killed a woman," okay, "I killed her," he basically was alluding and making it seem like it was you that gave her the go ahead to take her own life. You know what I'm saying? So it was him that caught Nick when he was riding his bicycle, because that's the last time people saw him. He was riding his bicycle, and they was basically asking for a phone. There was no phone, and then they wind up, stabbing him with a syringe, okay, to knock him out. Brought him to the warehouse, had him beat up and everything, recorded him, made those signs, and, trying to see what it is that they wanted, okay? They just wanted revenge. At least Simon just wanted revenge, you know what I'm saying? He did not want to basically kill this man. He was trying to scare him, okay? And so at one point, I think after they got the 5 million views or whatever, they tried to put him in a van, and a struggle ensued or whatever. Somehow Nick got away. Okay, so he's running away, and that's all that he know about. That's all that Simon said that he know. He said, I'm guilty of kidnapping him, but I'm not guilty of killing him. Okay, so I don't know about that. Whatever, you can do as you may. All right. Next thing you know, um, somehow the friend, I can't remember exactly, y'all can fill this in, but somehow the friend Matt Aldrich, his name comes up. Okay, and I was like, oh, at first I said who was Matt, because I forgot all about him at first. All right, but then oh no, this had the friend name came up. Okay, the friend name came up because the reporter was trying to talk to um the girl that supposedly got sexually assaulted or whatever was going on with Nick, okay, that was on the volleyball team that was no longer on the volleyball team, okay, because the Ben reporter, he figured it out. He figured out which girl it was who had the information, who was trying to tell her. So he went up there to the school to try to talk to her, and Matt came through, whatever, and was like, you're not supposed to be up here, okay, let it go, and eventually he wound up, I guess, talking to old girl, and she was like, I don't even want to talk to him like that or whatever. It is what it is. And somehow, Pia, I think, wound up getting in contact with the girl, and she said what wound up happening. I don't remember who the girl talked to. Put it down in the comments, because, like I said, I binge watched this shit. Okay, but the girl wound up talking to either the reporter or Pia, and wound up saying that I think it was the reporter, or was it Rashawn? Girl, whichever one. Y'all put it down in the comments, because I'm pretty sure y'all gonna tell me, y'all can correct me. But this is what happened when I don't do okay. I just got a message. My bad. This is what happened when I don't do episode by episode. Y'all gonna be like, damn, girl, next time do episode by episode. Girl, I probably will, okay? But the girl wound up telling whoever it wasn't Nick, okay? It was basically Matt, all right, his friend, the head of the volleyball team or whatever. Basically, she got into a relationship with him. She told him it was over with, and he just couldn't let go. And so he started to put her private pictures out there, and that's where that I abused women come from or whatever. It was like she feels as though the person that got Nick targeted him, and they got the wrong person. It should have been Matt. So at this point, Pia gets the information, and she's trying to understand what's going on, because as we go back to Simon, she's trying to convince Rashawn and them that maybe Simon did not kill him, because when we see the playback of everything playing out in real time, what happened to Nick in custody with Simon, he was all confused about what was going on, like, where you get these pictures from. And no, these pictures are being taken from my honeymoon, or when I was with my wife or whatever. What are you talking about? Somebody probably photoshopped, because earlier in the season I should say, they found some of the pictures or whatever. And I said, this motherfucker literally photoshopped his wife out of these pictures and put it on the goddamn dating sites, okay? I said, cold-blooded. Now you finna sit here and act like you don't know what you did with this man. If I was Simon, I wouldn't have brought that shit either, okay? But like I said, Nick got away. So now Pia got this information about Matt, and it tells her, what if it was Matt that did it? Okay, now at this point, I'm like, I don't think he would do something like that. But then again, you just don't know, okay? And I really wasn't convinced just yet, up until she gets up into his office, and she told Dawn, okay, the little secretary or whoever that works there that everybody likes, told her to could you, like, come on, this is important, like, you had the password or whatever, log me into his shit, because he wasn't there. So she eventually did it, and she going on his computer, and she finds those naked pictures of that girl. I said, oh my goodness, why would you put that on the computer? And then you see these Photoshop pictures of Matt basically taking Sophie out of the pictures, making it look like it's just Nick taking Sophie out of the picture and making it seem like it's just Nick who took the pictures. I said, oh my God, why would Matt so Matt is the one that did it, right? I'm like, why would he do this? Why would you put this on the school computer at that too? Oh my goodness. So they can't find him. He's not at his home, okay? They try to Pia, she tells Rashawn. Rashawn is upset because it's like you impeding and interrupting an investigation, and you can't do that. That's against the law or whatever. But she like, I don't care. She basically doing their job, okay? And at this fucking time, I'm sitting here like, what is really going on? Because then when Pia comes home, Matt is sitting on her steps and basically trying to confront her about why you go to my office, because I guess Don, little nosy ass, her little snitch ass, went on ahead and told him that, she was up there at the office. So at this point, I'm just sitting here like, so did you do it or did you not? Okay. And when she confronted him about the girl, she was like, listen, it was a consensual relationship. Okay. That's what it was. And she was like, that well may be, but you put up pictures out there. I don't know what he said about that, but when he brought up the whole thing about Nick and those dating profiles and all this stuff or whatever, because they feel like why them pictures was on your computer. He said, why would I put those pictures on my computer? And at first I didn't believe him, but something made me believe him a little bit, just a little bit. But I was still like 85% thinking that he was the one that did it. Okay, he wasn't that convincing, but he convinced a little part of me, just a little part of me. And so, he was about to come at Pia, because Pia was, accusing him of this, and her roommate came through and was like, can I help you? Pia, you good? Okay. She was like, nigga, go. Okay. So Pia got him to leave. So they thinking that it's him. And so you got the son, Ethan, talking to this person and giving him all this information. And then they find out that this is not it. And then, he talking to Pia about the girl that he talking to. She did send a picture. They both sent pictures to each other. I was like, he probably getting catfish too. And even Pia said, you liking this girl or whatever. Have you even talked to her in real life or seen her in real life? He was like. So at this point, it's now putting it in his head, because we're dealing with a big ass. This series was a whole bunch of catfish. I said, what is happening? What is fucking happening? Girl, the boy went off. Ethan went off on old girl, talking about something. You probably ain't real. You probably some pedo underneath the basement and all this stuff. And because she wouldn't want to meet. And she said she couldn't come outside because she got severe anxiety. And so, because he snapped off on her, she wound up giving him her address. He comes to the house. A man opens up the door. He goes off because, he thought that she was lying, and come to find out that was her father, and it really was the girl. And she really was helping him. She really was helping him, and they was finding addresses and everything, And at one point, let me get back to the kids. They went back to school, okay? And look, Kai, he was being accepted by his friends again, no problem. But then Ethan was getting bullied by this little white boy who came up there trying to say, oh, so was your mama fucking everybody here? Okay. And at this point, Ethan was about to knock him out, but Ethan said, nope, we're not finna do that. And he walked away. But Kai overheard what he said, and Kai went up to him and knocked that nigga out. I said, I know that's right. I know that's right. You better knock him out, boy. Broke his nose and everything. All the way to the point where the father wanted to press charges against Kai. And, Sophie's job was in jeopardy because of all of this stuff. And they had to sit down and talk to the father to see if he won't press charges, which he didn't. Okay, he just made them beg. And I ain't like that, because it was a white man making this black woman beg for her life or whatever for the safety of her son, and knowing damn well it was your son that started the stuff. Okay, your son is a bully, and it just made me mad or whatever. So they got over that. Something wound up happening. Ethan, he was doing something downstairs with the family, and somehow Kai has seen something on his computer. Okay, this is around episode 7, and it gets to episode 8, leads into episode 8. He sees something on his computer, and it was a message from his little girlfriend. Okay, and so at this point, it was like, did you get the address, or do you want the metadata? That's what he said, the metadata. And then, Kai being nosy, because he already seen some of the pictures and stuff, because he reached out to Emma, okay? Oh, I was about to miss the best part. He reached out to Emma because this was important. Him and old girl was like, let's call Emma up or whatever on Facebook or whatever, their version of Facebook. And so, to ask some questions. She didn't accept at first, so they had to send her a message. But then once he told her who he was, she called him on over the app or whatever. And so they video chat. And, we basically find out that the person who she thought she was talking to wasn't who she was talking to. And this whole damn time, she was up here acting as if, or they made it seem as if him Nick and Emma had actually sat down and met with each other. Because remember, they was putting scenes of them actually doing it and making love and stuff like that. And I'm sitting here like, did you ever hear him? She's never spoken to him on the phone. And if she did, it wasn't the same voice, okay? Because the son played a message and she was like, because at first she didn't say whether or not she met him in real life yet, okay? She wouldn't answer that question. But then when Ethan played the recording of the father's voice, Nick's voice, she said, nah, we never met and that ain't his voice. I said, bitch, what the fuck? Girl, this whole time I'm thinking that he actually met up with her because we already figured out that, he never met up with the other women that he was talking to on these apps, but for sure met up with Emma. But no, he never met up with her ever. Okay, so I'm like, did Nick really do this or not? At this point, I'm like, was he innocent or what? Was he cheating or what? Or was it just Sophie? I was so confused by this point. Okay, and then Kat seen something on the computer, being nosy because he got sent some pictures and all this stuff or whatever, and he saw the messages and he saw the address to where the catfish was supposed to be at, because this at this point it's a big ass catfish. Somebody was out here catfishing using Nick's picture that wound up getting Nick killed. Okay, that's what wound up happening. That's basically what the moral and the whole gist of this whole series was. Okay, bitch, it took a whole week or so for them to figure this out, and I'm mad because Neve, they should have called catfish. They could have called Neve Showman. Okay, Neve would have got this all cleared up in 3 days. Okay, in 3 days we would have had the catfisher, we would have had the whole story, and everybody would have been locked up. Okay, that's what would have been happening. All right, Kyle took it upon himself to get that address and to go down there because he realized, because he was in his feelings about the daddy. He was over the daddy because he thought the daddy was this bad person at this point. But then when he realized that the daddy really didn't do nothing, okay, people was using his pictures and everything, he was like, okay, cool. Now it's time to go find this catfish and regulate. I said, keep your little butt here, okay? Sophie went upstairs to his room to see if he was in there asleep. Girl, he gone. He gone. He go to the address, and as we open up the door, who at the door? Don from work, Nick's work, the one who opened up the computer for Pia. I said, what the fuck is going on? At that moment, I said, now wait a goddamn minute. Now that's something that I really didn't see coming. Baby, we only saw her a couple of times throughout the whole series, and then we get her at the end of episode 7, and now we get her here. I said, what is happening? Mind you, episode 8 was called The Answer, okay? And so basically, he comes in because he realized who she is. She realized who he is. Mind you, he had a baseball bat. He was ready to knock her out, knock whoever it was out, okay? But he put it outside, and he came in, had a little something to eat or whatever, and the husband come down there and was like, maybe we should get you home, okay? And so at this point, they go upstairs, and the husband started taking, like, you see Miss Dawn putting stuff in a bag or whatever, and then you see the husband go get this box out the closet, and it's a gun. I said, excuse me, what's happening? What are you about to do with that? He's just a kid. I'm confused. And I started figuring that shit out right then and there. I said, oh my God, please tell me you ain't got nothing to do with this, Miss Dawn. It be the nicest girl. She look like she makes some bomb. She look like that one white lady that makes some bomb chocolate chip cookies, okay? It's a hit or miss sometimes, but she look like she hit it every time. I said, Dawn, what's going on, ma'am? Dawn said, let me tell you what had happened was, they get Kai up in the car, okay? And Kai had turned his phone off because people was trying to find him or whatever. He had turned his phone off. He put it on silent. They was trying to tell him, don't go, don't go, don't go. Because they figured out who the house was. Well, they didn't figure it out, but they found out that that's where he was going because, they looked on Ethan's computer. Girl, they was in that back seat. Kai tried to turn that phone on. Dawn turned around and took that phone and threw it out the window. He was like, stop. I want to go home. I want my mom. I said, now you want your mom? Ain't nobody tell you to bring your ass over there in the first place, Kai. Okay, I was so scared for him. But the backstory was, when Nick first came to the job, Don basically was the person that was setting him up with his office and his computer, and she set up his account, okay? She linked his phone to the computer. She set up the passwords and everything or whatever. And so when she put the phone to the computer, you know what I'm saying? At one point, a message popped up from one of these little data sites that he was on. It was Sarah's, aka Bandy. And at this point, I think he was just talking to her as a friend. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think that he was having an emotional affair with her, or was he just talking to her as a friend? You know, and was it right after or before? It was before he found out that Sophie cheated. I don't think he was even doing nothing like that with old girl. I think, sometimes we just link up with people to talk. That's all we need to do is talk. And so I'm just sitting here like, oh, wow. She sees that. Okay, she cool or whatever. She's not getting the attention that she needs from her husband, but I'm sitting here like, are you communicating that? So she want to feel wanted. She want to feel loved, and I guess she didn't feel it at that moment. So in her bitterness and her, sadness, she winds up making a profile. She goes into his account because remember, she has his passwords and everything. And his password was the name of his dead hamster. And that is what he told her. I said, oh no. So she goes into his account. She's looking at all the messages and stuff like that. Next thing you know, she taking pictures. She the one that was photoshopping the pictures. She photoshopped the pictures and everything and made different accounts on them different you know, data websites, talking to all these women. And I was just like, oh my goodness. It was like once he get what he need out of him, then he'll break it off like after a few months. Okay. And that's exactly what it was. And then when it was when it came time to Emma, she wanted to talk to him. She had this little voice app on her phone that changed her voice into a man so she can talk to him. I said, girl, you really did all of this just to get some attention and know how it feels to be wanted, because her husband stumbled up on it. Because listen, she had one good talk with Emma after that. Girl, she was feeling all good. The husband was like, this look good on you or whatever. She was like, I know it do. Next thing you know, they made love. It looked like they ain't had sex in a minute, okay? And they was just both satisfied afterwards. When you laying on your back and you just like, damn. That's how they were. I said, oh, okay, it must have been good. It must have been a long time, but it must have been good. Next thing you know, the damn husband had found the profiles and stuff, and he was like, this is sick. Okay. And I was just like, oh no. She said she was gonna shut it down, but she never really did. Okay. And so at this point, that's when Nick comes up missing, and they see it on the news and everything. And she was like, the husband was like, see, at this point, everything that you did, we need to just burn it, break it, get rid of it. So he breaks the laptop and the phones and everything, just to clear their name. So just in case something happened, they won't be suspects. Okay. Then all of a sudden, somebody runs to the door. Okay. They thinking, the cops in them was thinking that at one point, the reason why Matt could have been a suspect is because Nick ran to Matt and found out that he the one that did all of this. No, Don put all that shit on Matt's computer to make it look like he did it. That's what she did, I believe. Okay. And so at this point, instead of going to Nick going to Matt, he came up on Don's house. Okay. Mind you, he had this little conversation with her about finding out that Sophie cheated and, telling her, I see the good in you and we all appreciate what you do and all this stuff. Bitch, I never get close to my coworkers like that. You would never know nothing that's going on in my life like that. Okay. Hell no. I don't trust y'all to do no shit like that. And Nick should have knew better. Okay. Y'all too damn trusting these days. He thought he could confide in that lady just because she looked like a sweet old grandma, a sweet old auntie, down south auntie. Mind you, they in Oakland, California. Girl, she played them. She played them asses. She come up in there and somehow, he figures it out that it was her that was doing all of this stuff. And at this point, he like, what the hell you doing this for and all this shit? The husband come down and he the one that whacked his ass in the head twice and killed him. I said, it wasn't even Don, it was husband. I said, Don, this all happened because of you. Because of you. Okay? So at this point, Cal was trying to get away. They drive him to their new cabin, this like little trailer that they had, and they up in there trying to discuss what they gonna do. Cal winds up getting out of the tire. He breaks the window and gets out. And then, the husband shooting, and at one point, baby, I thought they took Cal out. I was at work like this. All of us, it was quiet, and then all of a sudden you heard my coworker said, everything okay? I said, yeah, it's good. It's good. Girl, I was so deep into it. Girl, next thing you know, they come out there and they look for him. baby, the bullet went into one of them barrels and Kai wasn't even there. I said, oh, thank God. But she did wind up finding Kai. Okay, well, no, the husband wound up finding Kai, and then the police wound up finding, because they found out where it was, because Pia and Sophie came down there to old girl house, and Pia looked at one of them pictures and realized, bitch, this the bitch from the job. What the fuck? And so the cops came and it was like, okay, calm down, because at first they was about to arrest them, but they realized what they was doing. So they found their camper, and then Dawn got her ass arrested, and she said, let me talk to my husband, let me talk him down. And so they went and found him, and at one point it looked like he was just gonna let Kai go, and he was gonna go ahead and surrender. But he let Kai go, and he put that gun out like he was about to shoot, and they killed his ass. I said, this don't make no sense. Now, I don't know if I really like the ending to that. You know what I'm saying? Because truth be told, I did not suspect it was going to be them. Okay? I did not suspect that was going to happen. But at the same time, I was just like, oh my God. And then, everything goes back to normal, I guess, to a certain degree. Okay, I'm just gonna end it right there. Like, that's who did it. Okay, that's basically who did it. I said y'all owe Sophie an apology, and y'all owe Nick an apology. Okay, I hope they ran a story to clear that man's name, to let them know that he was innocent. That man was innocent. And this goes to show we gotta stay off of social media. This was a big ass season about catfish. On this season of catfish, this was the hidden episode of catfish. Okay, that's what it was. Girl, it was good. It was good. I may not have got all the details in there and everything correct, but for the most part, you get the gist, and baby, it was good. When I start doing these reviews for these shows or whatever, I'm doing episode by episode. Y'all would like that. I'm pretty sure y'all would like that better, because I can get a little bit more detail or whatever and remember more stuff. But it was good. Y'all give me something else to watch, okay, and talk about or whatever. But I do got a list of shit. I got a list of stuff to do. But you guys tell me how you felt about this, and yeah, I'll see y'all later. Peace.